Hey there, fellow wanderers. Tonight, we wander back in time to a world where winter wasn't charming. It was survival at its coldest, cruelest extreme. Picture yourself standing atop a snow-covered hill. The wind claws at your skin. Below, a medieval hamlet lies half buried, its people darting about under a pale, unforgiving sky. No heaters, no electricity, no second chances. Just frozen turnips, root cellars, and the hope that spring arrives before death does. This isn't a winter wonderland. This is history. And no, you probably wouldn't make it. But if you're curled under a blanket with hot cocoa in hand and this kind of cold truth resonates, then like, subscribe, and drop your location and local time below. Dim the lights. Let the fan hum like wind through old shutters. Let's begin and explore how medieval peasants survived famine winters. You trudge alongside these villagers who battle biting gusts of wind coming off the distant icy mountains. The eeriness of this ancient winter is softened by the hum of community life trudging on. In this era, every layer of clothing you wear is a painstakingly crafted shield against the elements. Woven by skilled hands that learned their trade out of sheer necessity, you might find yourself grateful for your knitted beanie, tucked just so over your frozen ears. Pity the medieval serf without such comfort, who instead relies on layered woolen caps and cloaks well worn by generations before him. As your gaze sweeps across the horizon, you can almost see countless fireplace gatherings where stories are swapped. Each tale told now reflects a strategy, a lesson learned, or a warning handed down. With thick stone walls gripping the warmth from every burned log, you marvel at how they echo the industrious spirits of those rugged troubadours of survival. Historians still argue about the exact constructions of these homes, stone foundations or wooden beams lined with daub. Yet all agree they were crafted to huddle warmth close. The prevalence of longhouses and cottages captures your curiosity. Often layered with enough straw and thatch to insulate against the icy gales, these domiciles divert the wind's sharp teeth. Inside, the sparking, snapping fires offer comfort and light. It's a rare luxury to settle around the hearth, swapping news, sharing warmth. If somehow the firewood was scarce, you'd employ the tried-and-true methods of compacting together as many bodies as possible. Much like penguins in the modern polar documentaries, you huddle to share heat, swapping stories as the tempest rattles against the stone walls. It's in this atmosphere of pragmatic imagination that you come to appreciate the humble kitchen corner of the medieval homestead. Here, whatever food they have stored, be it salted meats or root vegetables, becomes a dance of sustenance. The scant resources are deployed into concoctions of savoury simplicity, often containing surprising elements. Imagine, if you will, a steaming pot of pottage, whose recipe has seen innumerable generational tweaks, carefully stewarded over the hearth. Pecking at its depths invites a symphony of flavours, each spoonful a robust reminder of resourcefulness in scarcity. And though we glimpse the facade of this historical world as tenderly as a snow-dusted landscape, our journey is far from static. It shifts, flows, ebbs and rises with the harsh breath of the winter winds and the undying spirit of those who brave it. Despite the cold creeping in through any untended crevices, your fellow travellers still humour you with a grin. They've lived through worse, and stories of endurance soothe their gathering soul. Their playful anecdotes seem as warming as any woven tapestry. Yet another testimony to the enduring humanity shared between heartbeats. Through these sober observations and tentative forays amongst the chilling draught, you begin to perceive the symmetry of past and present. That modern appreciation of historical resilience grows, rooted deep, like the ancient oak withstanding generations of change. So, as you listen to the echo of whispers through wind-swept snow, take comfort in knowing that our journey has only begun to unravel the layers hiding. How medieval peasants braved the unyielding cold, each breath of frost a stark reminder of humanity's prowess in the face of nature's humbling power. And as you shrug against an imagined chill, snuggle deeper into your blanket, confident that our exploration of history's forgotten tales will unwind with the grace of an old, cherished yarn. As you walk alongside the peasants through this frosty medieval world, you realize how crucial fire and shelter are to their survival. The primitive yet ingenious designs of their homes play a pivotal role in keeping them alive during the biting cold months. While today you might flick on a thermostat, back then peasants relied solely on their ability to harness and keep warmth alive in their hearths. The longhouse emerges as a primary sanctuary against the winter's chill. Its layout is simple but effective, a long, rectangular structure built with thick timber, designed to withstand the unforgiving winds. Inside, the overpowering scent of smoke clings to everything. This is a place where smoke stains are worn with pride, a testament to countless fires that have kept families warm through endless frigid nights. Each wall and corner tells a story, echoes of laughter and whispered legends bouncing off the timber beams. Lighting a fire as a routine takes on religious significance. You gather what scant bits of kindling and dried peat you can find, your breath mingling with the sharp air, watching through squinted eyes while the smoke dances skyward. You recall the quirky tidbit that many peasants believed fire was a gift from divine entities, essential protection against the malevolence of winter spirits. So, every evening, it's not just a spark. It's a ritual, imbued with hope and life. Despite the heavy stone walls supposedly offering protection, cold drafts sneaking through ill-fitting doorways and crumbling mortar remind you of the haunting chill of winter. Yet, it's a calculated design. These small gaps allow smoke escape routes, reducing the risk of suffocating fumes within. Here in the belly of the longhouse, each crackle of flames is music. Each flicker of light dances with the shadows, holding darkness at bay. Beyond the warmth they provide, the hearths serve other purposes, including cooking meals and preserving valuable crops. Food preservation tags, along with warmth in the peasant's mind as you watch root cellars, built into the earth's bosom, guarding precious stores of cabbages, turnips and onions. Paired with dried or salted meats hung in the rafters, these stores keep hunger at bay, at least for a while. As you trace your fingers along the gritty stone walls, you recognize the communal efforts required to prepare for this time of year. It is about strategy, stockpiling fuel and resources during more abundant seasons, ensuring provisions last. It's a meticulous plan woven together by countless hands and repeated chants of experience-hardening tradition. Some medieval records even hint at communal woodcutting events, where whole villages banded together to gather firewood. An arduous but necessary task before winter's grip closed. Quieter moments offer time to ponder. Historians still argue whether open fires or enclosed metal braziers were most common in medieval homes. Each method has its champions, vehement in their assertions of which best held warmth or quelled smoke. Regardless of preference, both share a crucial role in survival, each method a testament to human ingenuity. Children gather close to their elders, enchanted by the enigmatic stories spun by firelight, tales drawn from a tapestry of myth and mundane intertwine, rhythmic voices pitched high and low, echoing as the flickering flames mimic shadowed figures. The hearth is a nucleus of warmth, in temperature as well as spirit, a focal point for the family unit whose shared humanity becomes as much a source of warmth as the crackling fire. Occasionally, this hard-learned lesson of warmth ventures outwards. A hand extends to a stranger caught unprepared, a wanderer lost upon a frozen path. Here, the tales evolve to embody compassion born from hardship. Guests receive not only food and safety, but a spot near the precious hearth, a chance to hear and share tales of triumphs, of days warmed by summer's return. In these moments of shared firelight, the concept of shelter transcends walls, becoming the embrace of community itself. As the night deepens, with the fire gently smouldering in the hearth, you appreciate the medieval peasant's prowess. Struggling hands found ways to keep warm, their ingenuity a warm blanket of its own. And though the snow might blanket their world in white silence, inside, the vibrancy of stories and lives lived fully rings loud, unfettered even by the darkest winter night. Thus, as you pull your own blanket tighter around your shoulders, know that through history's mist, the warmth akin to these medieval hearths is not so far removed from our modern comforts. Their resilience through winter's wrath trickles down, evident in every home's hearth glow still staving off the night. Venturing further into the wintry expanse of medieval life, you soon realize that the frozen ground could not tempt any crops to spring forth from its icy clutches. Subsistence farming then was both an art and a science of survival, with its methods devised to sustain life during harsh winters. Picture yourself standing at the edges of an empty field. the earth beneath your feet hard and unforgiving, awaiting the first hopeful thaw of spring. Medieval peasants in these moments leaned heavily on their foresight and perseverance. With the knowledge passed down through generations, they planned their planting calendars meticulously in anticipation of such days. Crop rotation was the reigning strategy, simply switching the patches of land used for different crops each year to avoid soil exhaustion and maximize productivity. It's as if those quaint fields perform a rotating dance, each step ensuring a bountiful yield when the seasons would finally relent. In the barns and sheds, an impressive array of stored grains and legumes stands ready to combat the hunger that gnaws at the bellies of frequenters. You move through this storied bounty of wheat, barley, rye and oat, stored carefully to protect them from the dampness that could spell disaster. A single bag saved from the rot is worth the effort, each grain carefully counted and revered like pearls destined to become life's barest sustenance. Sometimes they supplemented these with legumes, beans and peas that held up well against time's ravages. Historians still debate how effectively medieval peasants balanced the variety of crops. Some suggest they focused intensely on local staples, while others impart a more diverse portfolio. Either way, having just the right mix ensured the presence of essential nutrients even during strenuous fasts. Outside the granary you might hear the clack of flails as gathered grains are threshed, separated from their chaff like so many historic truths amid embellishments. The rhythmic swing of wooden tools is as familiar as a lullaby on the wind, a reliable cadence that both reassures and prepares you for when spring's green call resounds. Despite their efforts, it was often not enough to rely solely on these stored harvests. Medieval peasants had to navigate the landscape of resourceful substitutions, calling on age-old wisdom to stretch their stocks. Grain porridge and black bread served as staples, their coarse textures a humble but hearty answer to hunger's echo. And though you might grimace thinking of their limited pantry, remember the unyielding creativity, for they seasoned dishes with local herbs, enough to coax some warmth from even the simplest creation. Quirky as it sounds, necessity sometimes led to curious solutions. A slice of medieval toast or trenchers made from stale bread doubles as both dish and delicacy, helped conserve precious resources. Spoilage was battled with painstaking vigilance, where cellars, sacks and pots served as guards. It was all a delicate interplay, for just as crops rotated, so too did the needs and strategies of this medieval menu. Finding solace amidst famine required a canny sense of preservation, and occasionally, when the honeycombs ran dry, they concocted curious fermented grain concoctions like small beer. A quirky frugality yielded surprising resilience. Containing nutrients normally lost to overboiling and brewing, offered warmth and mirth in tandem. But perhaps the subtlest triumph within these stories is not just about sustenance. It's the harmony between hand and heart, where each task you undertake holds echoes of those before. You come to understand the shared endeavour underlying these labours. They are as much about feeding the spirit of the people, the very threads weaving a village's heart, as the bodies. Generations of knowledge mingled with familial labour illustrate survival as not merely atmospheric, but transcendent. As the village yawns beneath an icy silhouette, with gently falling snow tucking it into place, you marvel at the ingenuity that breathed life into fallow fields. From planting to preserving, they laid down the roots of resilience in simple acts repeated through the seasons. The echo of such subsistence farming practices continues to reverberate, a rhythmic reminder of our agricultural heritage and humanity's enduring dance with nature. So, as you cast one last glance over the frosted fields, let the whispers of long-ago harvests bid you onward, toward a deeper understanding of how they not only survived, but thrived, even when skies loomed grey. Snuggle deeper into your own blanket of modern comforts, grateful not only for what history teaches, but also for how it inspires, each seed sown a silent testament to the human spirit's unwavering resolve. Moving from the fields to the storerooms, tucked away in shadowed barns, you begin to appreciate the medieval peasant's mastery of preservation. With fresh fruits and vegetables a distant summer memory, or a tantalizing dream of spring, winter in this era demanded innovation. The essence of surviving these harsh months lay in the artful preservation of food, a skill sharpened through necessity and tradition. Imagine walking through a modest kitchen, where your senses are filled with the sharp tang of salt and vinegar, the earthy aroma of drying herbs hanging from beams, and the undeniable allure of smoked meats. Each method employed reflects the ingenuity required to sustain a family when the landscape outside is barren. Salting becomes a fundamental art form, and its power lies in its simplicity. You see chunks of pork and fish encapsulated in crystalline salt, stacked like relics of the past, destined to be consumed over the course of several wintry months. Salt's transformative magic offers not just flavour, but an extended bounty, drawing moisture out and ensuring these proteins endure well beyond their initial harvest. As you move to another corner, a tidy arrangement of jars filled with pickled vegetables catches your eye. The jewel-like colours of jewel-toned beets, cabbage, and root vegetables captured in glass, preserved beneath tangy brines. The alchemy of vinegar, herbs, and thyme works quietly, knitting together flavour and longevity. It's almost poetic how the bite of vinegar contrasts with the mellow sweetness imprisoned in these jars. An unassuming symphony of taste and survival. For those longing flavours more subtle, the gentle dance of smoke plays in the rafters above. You gaze at long ropes of sausage and hams turning slowly in the phrases of smoke, swathed in its whisper. Smoking is not merely culinary, but a preservation technique of hauntingly aromatic resonance, one that imparts rich, smoky notes to whatever it touches. Your presence in these rooms, filled with spices and the steady, enduring hiss of preservation tasks, feels akin to walking through a living memory. Historians still argue whether these techniques stemmed primarily from regional necessity, or as borrowed enhancements from far-flung neighbours met across scant trade routes. Regardless of origin, each method reflects an adaptation to harsh realities, an answer to what can withstand the cold's advance, ensuring a well-padded storeroom rather than empty cupboards. You see that even the cellar floors beneath your feet are revered, their cool embrace guarding jars of fermenting foods. Fermentation takes on a perspective both humble and pivotal, transforming simple cabbages into sauerkraut or beets into kvass, a drink that tingles across the palate and invigorates a weary body. It's a testament to the microbiological mysteries then not yet fully understood, but always respected. Occasionally you'll witness a quirky tidbit, a quirky holdover from elder methods, like fish buried in peat bogs, sealed in these naturally cool environments for months without spoil. Such eccentric methods might more often than not have led to eyebrow-raising experiments and occasionally a new family recipe. In the midst of these aged halls of preservation, you notice the stories that are themselves preserved by the fireside chats of weary villagers. Tales of last-minute substitutions, sharing secrets and exchanging tips amongst households become almost as nourishing as the meals themselves. A cultural ferment of sorts that binds generations. Perhaps you even overhear snatches of conversation revolving around the debates still held today. How significant these preservation methods were for medieval trade networks. Did salted herrings save lives on distant voyages? Did smoked meats reach the ears of urban baguette buyers hanging from distant harbours? With every tantalising bite retold, history becomes a shared experience, a triumphant tale narrated around a crackling fire. As you farewell this world of smoke and salt, brine and herbs, take with you the delicate yet resilient thread this preservation weaves. Each jar and joint tells a tireless tale of innovation and survival, a legacy preserved through the chill that challenges its keepers. Carry with you this knowledge, a modern reverberation of past resilience that ensures you'll never look at your pantry the same way again. And, as snowflakes silently cloak the hamlet again, into your own warmth-retreating cocoon you snugly tuck, feeling wrapped in the cosy complexity history offers when the night envelops, and time's breath slows its whisper further. As you venture beyond the snug confines of flickering fireplaces and well-stocked pantries, you find yourself amidst thickets and frost-kissed meadows, an altogether different landscape of survival. Here, foraging becomes both a necessity and an art form, a dance with nature that medieval peasants mastered to extract sustenance from even the most unyielding corners. Imagine walking under the canopy of bare branches, crunching through layers of ice and snow underfoot. Your breath hangs in clouds, mingling with the crisp, frosty air as you set off in search of wild edibles clinging to the edges of habitability. Foraging is not for the faint-hearted. It's a calculated risk, relying on intimate knowledge passed down through whispered tales and moonlit excursions. The frozen terrain might seem barren, But beneath its icy embrace, nature conceals yet another banquet for those who know where to look. Your eyes land on a cluster of barren bushes, their twiggy fingers barred of leaves, yet holding secret caches of fortitude. Among these, the humble rosehip glows like a ruby beacon, a remnant of summer's bloom, offering its tart flesh rich in vitamin C, essential to ward off winter ailments. Picking them requires nimble fingers and a keen eye, a testament to patience rewarded. Tasting one, you savour the puckering tartness, feeling the stored sunlight burst into warmth. Underground, hidden from prying eyes, the earth clutches a bounty of roots and tubers. Carrots, parsnips, and rarely, the skirret a sweeter, foreign cousin that sometimes surprises the forager. Digging becomes a meditative act, hands drawn by the carvings of season-crossed calluses, feeling the heartbeat of the soil. These buried treasures are poignant reminders of life's determination, a balance of grit and nourishment beneath winter's white cloak. Mushrooms, too, are a quirky, findsome varieties brave enough to sprout amidst the chill, poking up from decaying leaves in shaded recesses. Caution speaks volumes here, for you must distinguish between potentially life-giving fungi and their sly counterparts courting peril. Your foraging companions may recount tales of false fly agarics or phantom bolet, the quirky side of nature's larder, lessons in attentiveness and humility. Historians still argue whether these gleanings were predominantly supplemental or significant dietary staples. From your exploration, both seem plausible, as each morsel adds texture to a sparse landscape. A web spinning together survival threads from an array of tiny sources. As you return from your foraging expedition, fingers and toes numb but spirits elevated, the spoils are brought home to the trusting hearth of the communal table. There's a palpable camaraderie here, the shared satisfaction of turning nothing into something. A transformative act of culinary alchemy, performed with whispers of laughter and vivid tales shared by flickering firelight. Nettle soup, seasoned with wild garlic and flecked with foraged greens, simmers in a cauldron, stirred by hands entwined with the very essence of winter defiance. These desperate yet hopeful dishes, interspersed with loaves of horseradish-tinged bread and dried herbs, coaxing flavour from the past, reflect resilient ingenuity. It's a portrait of poverty painted in vivid strokes of creativity, a hunger both met and tempered by nature herself. Amidst the dining bonds so lovingly fashioned, tales of the winter that was unfold, accompanied by the gentle clinking of wooden spoons against clay bowls. It's as though each shared meal is a vacation through time, traversing generations while they celebrate hope and resolve. Peculiar little tidbits, like the slightly fermented smell of fermenting berry wine, punctuate the room, a place where borders blur and community becomes sustenance. With your fingers tracing the patterns of this medieval meal, you recognize a thread through time, a reminder of survival's roots, nestled in nature's own hands. In this echo-whispered sharing of life, snows may fall, and come what cold may, you feel the warming touch of resilience beneath your ribs. And as you nestle down once more, enfolded by modern immunities embraced from such stories, know that while the landscape outside may sleep in frost, it dreams of such stories, spun beneath tradition's telling breath. A brightly flashing testament to life unswayed by winter's albatross, continuing to pulse beneath the weight of whiteness, a promise carried forward amidst the crunch of future footsteps. Walking back from the frost-kissed fields and thickets, the warmth of the village envelopes you like a familiar cloak. The chill of winter lingers in your bones, but the faint, heartfelt melodies of laughter echoing from communal gatherings beckon you closer. In these challenging times, the bond of community stands resilient. It's the glue that makes survival in a medieval winter a shared effort, rather than an isolated struggle. Step into the modest, bustling lodge where bodies crowd around firelight, their shadows dancing on the soot-streaked walls. You're immediately struck by how tangibly the spirit of cooperation infuses the air. A lifeline in the icy grip of famine. Here the little each villager contributes adds to a greater whole. A collective patchwork stitched from efforts, stories, and shared resources. It's a time when individual survival hinges on the strength of the collective, transforming scarcity into communal resilience. Dinner might not be the grand feast you'd expect, but each bowl of stew or shared loaf is a testimony to this synergy. Imagine the thrill of tasting a simple stew, where each vegetable and morsel of meat represents a neighbour's contribution. Sally down the lane might have brought in some turnips, while old John donated his onions, and perhaps the baker's family added a pinch of dried herbs. Within each taste lies a secret amalgam of shared traditions and collaborative endurance, a quilt sewn from necessity yet delicate with warmth. As you shift your focus to the heart of this gathering, you soak in stories exchanged across the hearth, flickers of light catching faces worn with age yet vibrant with life. It's in relating these tales that histories blend into strategies, whispered plans for preserving forage, jokes about the time the hen stole a harvest, and gossip weaving tightly through interwoven lives. It's light-heartedness in the face of adversity, a quirky way to survive the long, looming nights. You watch an elder pull out a small, carefully wrapped bundle. It contains a special reserve, perhaps a prized cured sausage or a rare sweetmeat, saved for a rare moment of joy, and share it in celebration of a recent birth or marriage. Historians still argue about how such barter items were valued during harsh times, worth a week's labour or priceless depending on need. Regardless, each shared item speaks to the intricate social fabric that bind their community tighter. Shared spaces buzz with trading whispers. Where you once might trade woolens or spare tools for hardy crops, today it's the promise of assistance on a distant chore that draws currency. Everyone understands that combined efforts fortify their resolve as the bluster rages outside. Even children participate, carrying messages between families or running small errands, their own small bonds forming future foundations. In these rich exchanges, you find that what's shared isn't merely physical. It's a wealth of knowledge and an earnest camaraderie that fills the heart's empty spaces. A cacophony of layered connectedness, appearing trivial, yet meandering through survival's riddles. When communal gatherings double up as makeshift councils, discussions centre around weather patterns, woodland needs, and strategies for the coming thaw, projecting well into future hopes. Around you, charity assumes various guises, often unspoken gestures that fortify the binding ties. Slices of crust given to a hungry neighbour, a spare tunic offered against the cold. They all form a web strong enough to cradle the most fragile amongst them. As you breathe in this atmosphere of giving, you marvel at how these seemingly small acts form an ongoing narrative of collective solidarity, a bond that resists breaking even under winter's burden. Here and now, as night swaddles the horizon, hearts are open like the promise of sunrise, each individual commitment to fight winter's oppressive stillness, celebrated together. As the village settles into a lull that echoes with tender warmth, you tuck yourself beneath the layers of storytelling and shared experiences. These are the fireside tales that open the heart to understanding the beauty found in unity against adversity. So, when you retreat back into the comfort of your modern world, snuggled beneath shared blankets of technology and storytelling, you may find yourself reflecting on humanity's fortitude, that through the coldest of winters, it's the spirit of unity acting as the flame that nourishes hope, lighting the path of shared endeavour through that ancient phrase, "Together warmth holds, winter's end." Stepping out from the warmth of the communal gathering, you feel the sting of winter once more, but this time there's a sense of adventure awaiting you. As the small medieval village tucks ever deeper into its snowy cocoon, the concept of trade becomes a fascinating lifeline that extends beyond mere survival. It whispers of connections far removed, yet vital. The winding paths you imagine stretch toward distant horizons. These routes serve as arteries through which life flows into this humble settlement. You might not see grand caravans of merchants arriving daily, but the taproot of local trade stirs a peculiar tapestry across vast landscapes and meandering villages. Despite the snow-draped world, trade networks thrive, albeit in forms dictated by climate and necessity. Step into the scene of a bustling hamlet, market day, where traders, hardened yet hopeful, traverse with wares bundled against the elements. Barter becomes a vital currency, an exchange not just of goods, but stories and news from other corners of the world. Peddlers and peasants mingle, while goods vary from bundles of dried herbs to bales of wool, from hand-hewn tools to beehive-cured combs rich with honey. Needle your way through this lively affair. Children play underfoot, while housewives haggle over lengths of fabric. You overhear attempts at trade in foreign tongues, their lilt still strange to many, yet bearing coveted spices and vibrant coloured cloths. Historians still mull over the actual extent of these trade networks, questioning how far and deep their influences reached. Were Eastern spices more myth than matter? Was silk tangible, woven into noble aspirations, or simply a dream for most? Nevertheless, this vibrant marketplace brims with kaleidoscope hues arising from not-so-distant lands. There's a charming array of bartered goods, from simple clay pots forged from local clay to intricate metal smithing acquired through barters with the nomadic Romani, each item carrying an unspoken legend. These moments allow the villagers a glimpse of a wider world, broadening horizons under the shadow of necessity. In every trade, be it a sheaf of grain for a bolt of wool or a bushel of apples for a brace of rabbits, there's life imbued into otherwise mundane transactions. You spy a cow's docile gaze in exchange for tools to till land come spring, its transfer as weighted with destiny as any royal decree. Through barter, each transaction weaves an intricate web, holding villages in mutual reliance, further linked like beads strung on a trader's necklace. And then, there are travelling merchants, those entrepreneurial spirits threading through regions, whispering tales collected through wayfaring. They bear packages of peculiar, exotic goods, the quirkier forms of preserved or fermented foods that delight the senses, with views into climate-belied wonders. Air-dried meats and fishes become tokens of good faith among trading partners, silent tributes to enterprising roots of hearts beyond mountains and rivers. As you walk among these exchanges, feel the sense of camaraderie blending with guarded resolve. Barter not only becomes exchange of necessity, but also seeds of trust, sowed through shared hardship. Language barriers falter against the unified purpose of mutual reliance. It is the hope stitched into each fur-lined coat or tucked into each sack of spice that knits together these disparate lives. You notice a particularly animated exchange between two villagers, one speaking of a storm-battered trading trip to a thriving winter festival in a town beyond the hill. In his gesticulation, you sense more than a telling of fruits exchanged for salted meats. It is a vivid tapestry detailing how these peddlers extend life's flavour palette. Lean in a bit, and it becomes evident that every exchange held within the market's medieval heart underscores humanity's intrinsic yearning, a desire to evolve beyond winter's dictates, to seek freshness and newness, to supply what lacks and shine the bright hue of optimism against snowscaped walls. As the cold begins its return with the setting sun, witness how these woven stories tug at even the most insulated of minds. They speak to borderless connections when you nestle yourself once more amid modern comforts. Each sigh a distant echo of history, repeated, yet never quite the same. Ever adapting through season's breath. Back in the welcome confines of time's pocket, warmed by a nod to borders wide and near, your mind's alchemy reaffirms that all is woven together in trade's ancient dance, where the bonds that build connections continue in pulse and beat. Somehow, winter's grip thaws with each trade completed. Horizons stretch toward what may come next. Returning from the lively market bustle through a silent drift of snow, you find yourself considering the other stalwart companions of the peasant's journey through a medieval winter: their livestock. These animals are the unsung heroes of survival during these frozen months, providing not just sustenance, but warmth, labour, and a semblance of continuity when the world seems slumbering beneath a white blanket. Imagine stepping into the dark, musky interior of a modest barn, where the softness of straw mutes the sound of your steps and the air is thick with the earthy scent of livestock. Here, animals huddle together, their body heat contributing to a warmth that defies the chill pressing in from outside. This place of refuge is more than mere shelter. It's a living, breathing testament to the symbiotic relationship between humans and their animals. Cows are first to grab your attention with their soulful, liquid eyes and placid demeanour. They are the cornerstone of a peasant's livestock, not only providing milk, which can be consumed fresh or transformed into butter and cheese, but also serving as valuable draft animals in the warmer months. Each complacent chew of cud speaks to the months past, where milk would have been a rare comfort and a steady hand made cheese wheel by wheel. Around you, chickens warble and shuffle, pecking cheerfully at scattered feed on the barn's cold floor. Their contribution during winter is small, yet vital. Their eggs a precious source of protein in a landscape ruled by scarcity. Historians might still argue whether these birds were brought into the home itself during the coldest nights, But this barn certainly feels like an extension of that hearth-side collaboration. Pigs, often somewhat grumpily, snooze in a corner pen, their sides heaving rhythmically like stubborn bellows. They are valued for their ability to convert scraps into meat over seasons, their processing in late autumn ensuring salted hams and preserved fat stores for the wintry months. The aromatic, smoky curls of bacon, hanging alongside drying herbs in the rafters, serve as a promise of sustenance when fields lie fallow. And let's not forget the sheep, whose wool provides warmth beyond the barn. An open, scholarly debate ponders whether their contribution economically outweighed their dietary value. After all, their warm fleeces are spun into garments that become essential winter armour against the chilling winds. A little off to the side you might find goats, their quirky antics providing a bit of barnyard levity. Known for their milk as well, these versatile creatures contribute to the food sources in diverse ways. Furthermore, goat skins make robust, practical garments and leather goods, augmenting their practical worth. In this reverent atmosphere, each creature's existence intertwines with the people tending them, a partnership where care and utility circle one another in careful balance. This keeps an agrarian economy ticking over, these beasts contributing labour in plough and pasture come spring, even their manure enriches soil in preparation for sowing once the grip of frost loosens its hold. The pace of barn life might seem unchanging, yet glimpses of daily care weave the narrative connecting past efforts to future prosperity. Each animal's face becomes a testament to cycles of renewal and the promise of return-to-growth cradles of potential encapsulated in soft fur and warm hide. Perhaps in the tranquil silence that envelops you, here away from winter's icy grasp, you might overhear a farmer murmur stories to their charges. There's gratitude, yes, but also a sense of camaraderie, whispers that form a bond stretching back through centuries. These loyal companions are entwined in the struggle through long winters and in the victory of witnessing another awakening spring together. As barn shadows lengthen and twilight descends, your departure from this sanctuary brings a subtle appreciation for the mutual trust threaded through these ancient walls. The resilience and legacy of medieval peasants' livestock become your own, a woven story of humankind's ingenuity paired with nature's infinite bounty. Draw yourself back into the warm embrace of the present, the echoes of braying and clucking still humming within your thoughts. But know that these creatures, simple and steadfast, walk alongside today's comforts like cherished ancestors, indeed keeping history alive through the warmth you experience as you nestle into bed. Dreams familiar and woven of fields yet to awaken. As the snow continues to fall gently on the medieval village, the quiet seems almost sacred, interrupted only by the soft whispers of the wind. Here, amidst the flurries, looms the omnipresent shadow of uncertainty. Yet, what you find most remarkable is the unwavering presence of faith and superstition in the daily lives of medieval peasants. In an era where the line between the mystical and the ordinary often blurred, these beliefs provide both comfort and structure against the harshness of winter. Visualize stepping through the creaking doors of a modest village church, its wooden walls heavy with the fragrance of waxy candles and incense, hanging like a smoky veil. Here the flickering light dances across stone outcroppings and carven effigies, each one a testament to the spiritual heart of the village. Faith, in its richest tapestry, serves as an anchor amidst life's tumultuous seas. In the depths of winter, religion is more than mere ritual. It is the cornerstone of survival, offering hope and unity. Villagers gather, heads bowed beneath woolen hoods, as sermons weave tales of providence and perseverance. You sense that each homily speaks directly to their hearts, binding them with threads of shared belief and collective fortitude. Droplets of holy water, they are assured, ward off ailments brought by the cold. But it isn't just organised religion holding sway over imaginations. Superstitions nip at the edges, offering their own peculiar form of comfort. It's not uncommon to find iron horseshoes hung above doors to capture good luck, or hear whispered incantations uttered over hearths to protect homes from marauding frost spirits. There's a curious delight in these rituals, a blend of pagan echoes and Christian overlay, reflecting the historical shifts in belief that lingered long into medieval winter nights. Throughout your stroll, each villager seems possessed of secret knowledge, perhaps accumulated through generations. They talk of ways to divine the season's outcome, reading signs in animal tracks, or the ways smoke curls from chimneys, historians still argue whether these traditions held more practical grounding or were mere flights of whimsy, the kinds of debates born when fact and belief intermingle with daily life. As you dig deeper, marvel at the charm-infused tokens worn or displayed within homes. A braided string, a carved amulet, or a handful of protective herbs tied with red thread, meant to ward off malevolent forces. Consider the quirky fact that some even wore potatoes around their necks to fend off disease, a decidedly unscientific yet sincerely believed safeguard. In the half-light of winter's grip, you see how these customs transform life's mundane drumbeat into a vibrant communal dance. At times, invoking saints or historical figures becomes as much about instilling courage as compassion. St. Sebastian for plague protection, or the Virgin Mary for mercy, each name a whispered prayer against the night. Festivals, too, punctuate this wintry tale, offering jubilant reprieve, their sounds ricocheting off snow-draped trunks. Candles spill warmth beyond church doors, warding off the long dark nights with shared light. Such gatherings reflect both joyous faith and grounded superstition, a reminder that celebration stands in tandem with belief. The intertwining of church bell and whispered charms is like an orchestra, harmonizing through life's challenges. As chants echo through nave and narthex, community bonds strengthen, girded by the familiar cadences of faith that underscore the ordinary with the sacred. When you leave this village chapel, drawing your cloak tight against the whispering chill, know what you've glimpsed is more than faith. It is a living tradition, a deeply rooted conviction transcending mere survival. These people carry the light they kindle, poised against winter's shadow, nurturing the spark of belief that persists against even the greatest of uncertainties. Returning to your cozy abode, consider these shared stories of mere mortal and ethereal grace. Remember how they continue to resonate in modern hearts, pirouetting gently on history's stage, breathing warmth into the coldest landscape. It's an unyielding chorus, singing through time, defying both the frost and the inevitable blustering storm, ever resilient. As you move from the warmth of spiritual solace back into the briskness of the medieval winter, you begin to contemplate the intricate warp and weft of social hierarchy that subtly dictates life within this frosted world. Here, in the midst of blustering winds and snow-laden branches, the feudal system stands as an omnipresent structure, a rigid spine supporting and sometimes straining under the weight of both abundance and scarcity. Imagine yourself navigating the cobbled pathways of a manor estate, its silhouette looming beneath the slate-grey sky. The manor house, more fortified castle than refined residence, with its wind-swept battlements, towers above scattered cottages like a watchful sentinel. Within these walls, the lord or lady of the manor holds dominion, while beneath them, the peasants' labour-tillers of soil, woodcutters and humble tenants tied by duty, obligation and fear of famine. In this societal latticework, peasants engage in a dance of dependence and duty, their lives both constrained and protected by the lord's rule. The manor becomes the nucleus around which village life revolves. In return for a plot of land to farm, peasants owe a portion of their crops, tithes and taxes, rendering what they cultivate as neither truly theirs nor completely out of reach. It's a transaction that promises sustenance, a double-edged sword where security waltzes with subjugation. You'll notice a socio-political choreography as the lord allocates essential resources for that arable land for additional fields or collections of firewood. In times of famine, decisions from on high can ensure survival for some but doom others, as sustenance often hinges on proximity to power. Historians still ponder whether this allocation was purely pragmatic or if favouritism played a notable role, influencing the fate of families when supplies dwindled. As your exploration unfolds, nestled deeper within the social fabric, you observe the roles of stewards and bailiffs, those intermediaries who carry the Lord's commands to the village hearths. It's their stewardship that mediates the complexities of medieval obligations, meting out judgments and overseeing the distribution of food storages during lean seasons. In them resides a peculiar balance of authority and responsibility, their presence a reassuring yet formidable facet of daily life. Yet within this hierarchy you detect whispers of rebellion, quiet tales of audaciousness, where peasants might clandestinely supplement their strained resources. Whether poaching game from the Lord's forest or gleaning later harvests, such acts carry risk, but also whispers of defiance and courage. a silent resolve lodged firmly within a peasant's heart. The lords themselves often rely on loyalty and protection from knights, though winter's trial tempers also many of their desires for military conquest. And theirs is a lifestyle of ordered indulgence, rich meals, hunting parties, and tapestries hanging within warmed halls, juxtaposed against the peasant struggle. The contrast speaks volumes, a portrayal of societal disparity that neither diminishes nor dominates, but simply exists as a silent spectre. Of interest here are the quirky traditions, such as the curious custom of wassailing, a winter festivity, turned tribute, merging seasonal revelry with fealty, where toasts offer spiced ale or cider to trees and lord alike, a hopeful appeal for bounty in a future harvest. The feudal bonds binding serf to soil and subject to sovereign are steeped in mutual dependency laced with a waiting undertone. An unspoken understanding acknowledges that survival relies just as heavily on the lord's forethought as the peasant's yield. These subtle interdependencies engender a pragmatic resilience within the community, a blood and iron tenacity interwoven into their essence. As you withdraw from these power structures, figures silhouetted against the winter twilight thickening, you reflect on how these relationships of duty and loyalty, steeped in layers of reverence and respect, have left their imprint not just on landscapes, but within human interactions across time. Back in the warmth of your own corner, sheltered beneath the cozy companionship of blankets, let these echoes of medieval hierarchy settle, among flecks of frost and history's soft sigh. Appreciate the narratives they've inscribed upon the world. Those bonds, stronger than stone, keep castles veritable, and loyalty intangible, shaping lifelines through all seasons, with echoes that, even now, thread into the modern world's tapestry. Returning from the corridors of power and hierarchy, you find yourself drawn to the hushed and intimate sphere of medieval medicinal practices, a place where the fragrant scent of herbs mingles with hushed whispers and the touch of rough-hewn wood. It's a world both remarkable and rudimentary, where healing lies entwined with tradition and superstition, echoing through the stark quiet of a winter's day. Imagine stepping into the softly lit chamber of a village healer's home, the low ceiling overhead festooned with drying herbs, lavender, sage, and chamomile, casting their aromatic tendrils upon you like gentle wisps of ghostly counsel. These botanicals, culled from field and forest, become the primary arsenal against ailments that sneak into the village along with the chill of winter. Here, the tender hands of a healer prepare remedies that rely heavily on nature's bounty. Common ailments like rheumatism or coughs are treated with customary concoctions, infusions boiled in earthen pots, each brew quietly resounding with generations of inherited knowledge. A pinch of mullein for chesty coughs, elderflower teas for fevers, and comfrey poultices for aches and sprains illustrate a symbiotic dance between human need and elemental gifts. Some have names you'd find charmingly quirky, like dragon's blood, a resin from exotic trees believed to have potent medicinal properties, or unicorn horn, which is actually powdered narwhal tusk, revered for its supposed ability to neutralize poison. Though modern knowledge debunks such claims, medieval folk held these with a mixture of awe and practicality, storied fragments of a more mysterious world. Historians still debate the efficacy of these early remedies. Was their healing power purely placebo, or did some indeed hold chemical properties we only recognize now? Nonetheless, even the simplest actions, like laying a comfrey poultice over weary muscles after a long day's toil, must have conjured comfort during those colder nights. Within this realm of healing, the figure of the healer, a midwife, or wise woman emerges, not just as a practitioner, but as a pillar of comfort and connection, threading through neighbour and kin alike. They are entrusted with the joys of new life and the sorrows of passing, each potion or balm a tactile reassurance. Those in their care are accompanied on life's journey with empathy and wisdom. Inside this cozy abode, the larger world remains laced with caution and curiosity toward this mysterious figure, balancing skepticism with dependence. Healers often navigate a fine line between veneration and suspicion, a whispered paradox within the fabric of village life. Their practices could lead them to either veneration as a saviour or suspicion as something far more sinister. As moonlight turns fields into argent seas, there's something powerfully reassuring within these modest walls, where the magical and the mundane shuffle aside their differences in pursuit of wellness. You even hear the playful superstitions like curing warts by rubbing them with a stolen piece of bacon, then burying it under the hog pen as you leave. enduring in their folklore-laden solace. From this journey into the balm-scented sanctuary, retreat now into your own familiar solace, consciousness aglow with the reverberations of crocks simmering on quiet embers. Consider the symbiosis of early medieval practice with modern medicinal advancements, how far we have come, yet how near we remain within our shared quest for healing and restoration. Cuddle beneath your blanket, perhaps a pinch of lavender lingering on the air, infused with history's wholesome touch. Drift off, knowing the story of healing spun from roots and leaves around winter's edge, serves as both a reminder of human resilience and a tendril tracing backward along medicine's towering growth. It whispers of the enduring kindness and care, enveloped in all our efforts to keep the chill at bay, ensuring warmth once kindled shall forever endure. As the chill of winter deepens its grasp on the medieval village, the long, dim hours of the evenings stretch invitingly before you. It's a time when the persistence of gloom outside is matched by an inner glow, as villagers gather to weave bonds of entertainment and unity that brighten the shadows. Inside these homes, where firelight blinks warmly against the stone, you'll find a captivating tableau of stories, music and laughter, unspooling like golden thread through the cold. Imagine settling in a room steeped in communal coziness, where neighbours draw close on benches and padded stools, sometimes sharing a single candle's light, nodding off in tandem to the gentle strumming of a lute. Across the smoky haze of hearth fires, tales are spun with the precision of a master weaver, each word igniting the imagination like sparks rising from burning logs. Storytelling emerges as a rich tradition, a sublimely interactive art form melding fact and fiction. Here, the line between listener and teller blurs, as enraptured children listen wide-eyed to accounts of heroes long past, sprinkled with mischievous goblins and wise old crones. Each storyteller breathes life into characters with every gesture and vocal twist, challenging the imagination to explore realms beyond chill and shadows. Quirky folklore enriches these evenings, local legends seeped in superstition, passed down with both humour and reverence, embellishments gently nudged along with each retelling. You can't help but smile at the elfin creatures said to live in the wood's hollow trees, or the improbable feats of strength demonstrated by ancestors whose tales blend history with myth's enchantment. Beyond stories, music strums the heartstrings, as fiddles and lyres bring rhythms echoing across chambers. It's not just a solo performer, but a shared experience. The melodious rise of an ancient tune invites all voices to join, creating an impromptu choir, harmonizing to the cadence, sometimes eclipsing the fine musicianship with sheer joyous exuberance. And as songs swell, even the shy succumb, contributing foot-tapped rhythms and the cascading crescendos of clapped hands. Perhaps you spot a simple game of dice or rudimentary chess pieces engaging others in a mindful contest, their laughter a jovial undercurrent rising amid spirited exchanges. It's all part of a tapestry woven intricately with social bonds, marrying the familiar delight of friendly rivalry with intellectual engagement. Historians still argue about the exact nature and rules of some of these games, their precise origins shrouded in the myths of time. Yet what matters most is the frothy delight they spark, an escape from reality's harsh chill, transforming the home into an island of warmth and hospitality. In this enchanted glow, even the simple act of baking bread or stitching by fire becomes an opportunity for shared tales and merriment, a testament of kindness bound within flower dust or a whispered stitch, each gesture anchoring the community against solitude's vastness. Children watching in wide-eyed wonder, snuggling under sheepskin throws, might even gather life lessons as fables unfold, tales enriched by wisdom, wrapped in whimsy. For them, these moments enchant and educate, nurturing seeds of creativity and community that will blossom with the spring. As hours elapse unnoticed and the heavy lids signal the waning of the late hour, your heart feels knitted into this tapestry of medieval life, a kinship shared across inky distances of time, and though the world outside slumbers under ice's dominion, inside the spirit of camaraderie laughs in the face of winter's desolation, maintaining an enduring, joyous warmth. As you lay beneath your own cozy quilts, heart wrapped in afterglow, let the embered echoes of music and stories lull you towards tonight's own dreams. Imagine the threads that pull us together, stretching out across centuries and temperatures alike, whispering that even beneath snow's heavy breath, creativity, laughter, and shared tales radiantly guide us through the dark. And so, drift into the distance with those giggles and whispers trailing the stars, a gentle reminder that warmth, in its truest human variety, requires not just fire, but the enduring spark of human connection, a torch carried forward, resilient even in winter's harshest chill. As the soft murmur of village life resumes in the frosty dawn, the stark realities of scarcity subtly permeate the burgeoning warmth found in every firelit hearth. The chill of a medieval winter insists on relentless preparation and unyielding perseverance amid scarce resources. Yet here, amidst the quiet determination, lies an unspoken truth. The distribution of resources is not always equal, and the spectre of food insecurity looms large over households tucked into this timeless landscape. Walking along the snow-laden pathway, you can almost feel the tense anticipation hanging in the frozen air. In many ways, survival echoes a communal commitment, but it's also tinted by practical realities. Scarcity in a time of famine exposes the delicate imbalances of resource allocation, sketched with lines of inequity that zigzag through the snowbound village. As you observe the great manor's stores being replenished, you might notice the distinction between the burgeoning granary that serves the lord and the modest supplies harboured by the peasantry. This contrast highlights the lopsided nature of medieval resource distribution. A lord banquets while peasants ration, makes the feast a spectacle subtly tinged with quiet fortitude, each act of survival tempered by the careful calculation of consumption against need. For some peasant families, the stores are perilously thin. Even with their best efforts locked into pickling, drying, and preserving, the meagre supply dwindles faster than a candle's flame, a reality underscored by weighty apprehension during long, meal-light days. Here lies a nuanced dance where scraps of meat and pottage become vital lifelines, starved of decadence yet rich in innovation. Historians still debate the details of these inequities, the extent and variations across regions, the impact of feudal roles, and the balancing act of tithes. The fragile stability wavers, tethered upon tradition's forked path. Are the village elders or manor lords fair arbiters, or deeply selective, drifting in waters made murky by privilege? Interpretations scatter like snowflakes, unique yet part of the broader drift toward understanding. Amongst the thrumming austerity, stories of neighbourly charity surface like unexpected blooms in winter. Quiet acts of kindness and stealthy aid binding communities together against adversity. A surreptitious loaf of bread, a shared rabbit stew, or a few spare turnips passed discreetly under cloak's shadow, hold the power to sustain and uplift, crafting intimate tapestries of compassion around each barrel-bound table. Beyond human charity lies a fervent spirituality that complements physical sustenance. Prayer and faith intermingle with desperate pleas, where hands fold in solemn supplication, seeking divine intervention when earthly solutions falter. Perhaps it is within these moments of quiet stoicism and unspoken solidarity that a community finds strength in scarcity, adversity, serving as a crucible for resilience and hope. Even with scarcity as an unyielding companion, levity and ingenuity persist. The creative flair emerges, perhaps through the moulding of wheat flour into imaginative shapes, peppered with not-so-precious spices that evoke the exotic. Children crafting snowmen from meagre snowfall, their laughter a defiant counterpoint to winter's severity, which contributes to this vital tapestry. It's a binding force, a subtle rebellion against hunger's silence. As you pull your cloak tighter against the biting frost, know that this snapshot of history, a battleground etched with evenly doled resolve and unequal measure, is but a moment lit by the enduring spirit of those who came before. Embrace this layered history, knowing that through adversity, the human spirit can kindle warmth from the coldest corners of memory. Return to the comfort of your own space, aware that though you inhabit a world far removed in time, echoes of those ancient meals and quiet acts of kindness linger, fantastic yet genuine. Let these inhabitants of yore, shrouded in winter's persistence, guide you gently into sleep, whispering of humanity's intrinsic power to nurture warmth from scarcity's bones, a beacon through time, lighting all futures. As the snow drifts steadily across the medieval landscape, enveloping the village in its crystalline embrace, a curious phenomenon persists. Stories of resilience and fortitude that defy the grey resignation of winter. In a world often shadowed by the capricious whims of nature and the limitations of means, these tales shine as beacons, carrying the weight of past winters with a remarkable lightness that captures both imagination and spirit. Imagine huddling once more around the warmth of the hearth, surrounded by a circle of eager listeners, each one bound by the eager anticipation of another tale to emerge from the flickering shadows. These stories are more than mere entertainment. They are vital lifelines, vivid illustrations of courage and creativity, drawn from the depths of adversity. As old voices weave their yarns through the smoky haze, you come to understand just how deeply these narratives are etched into the cultural fabric of the village. You hear of Anselm the Bold, known not just for his namesake courage, but also for his legendary journey through the teeth of a brutal winter to deliver medicine to ailing kin. With little more than a tattered cloak and an unyielding spirit, Anselm braved the elements, his footsteps and heart in perfect sync with tales born of stubborn resolve. The tightly woven strands of heroism become real, each word adding layers to the legend, crafting a tapestry of survival too powerful to fade. Then there's the story of Ilara, the wise woman whose ingenuity and resourcefulness transformed simple root vegetables and herbs into nourishing feasts that sustained an entire community through the deepest of winter chills. Her story unfolds like a delicate recipe, equal parts myth and magic, yet bound by the genuine practicality of a woman channeling the earth's generosity into a symbol of endurance. Beyond individual feats, you discover the collective anecdote of a village rising as one. Faced with a particularly harsh winter, with supplies running perilously low, the community pooled what little they had, united by hewing timber from a snow-laden forest under a vigilant sky. While each stroke of the axe or agreed-upon plan might seem humble, the shared triumph over adversity and camaraderie forged warmth that melted the grip of despair, weaving a story of unity that transcended the storm. It's within these narratives that metaphoric embers flicker, stories possessing the power to inflame hearts with their cozy glow even as the temperature plummets. Historians still debate whether these tales are mere embellishments, crafted to offer hope, or reflections of truth, folded generously into the soul of human experience. Each version provides lessons in bravery, persistence, and empathy against the stark backdrop of survival. These stories are bolstered by quirky traditions like the winter weaving, where villagers create elaborate tapestries depicting tales of heroism and fortitude. Marked by vibrant dyes and intricate designs, each piece becomes a visual testament to the stories that circulate through time, echoing the intimate depth of human history beyond written scrolls and fading parchments. Look closely, and you might notice that the very act of storytelling itself serves as a quintessential metaphor for enduring the harshest of seasons, a reminder that within the coldest darkness burns the flame of human spirit's persistence. The storytelling fire stands unquenched, whispering of those who touched eternity through resilience's gentle magic. And when your heart wants for reassurance, those moments when life's uncertainties brush against the edges of memory, remember these tales that linger just beyond each snow-covered tomorrow. Feel the story's warmth travel through generations, their threads entwining past and present in an unbreakable bond of spirit and strength. Returning to your cozy sanctuary, laden with these tales, alive in their timelessness, transfer them into a modern frame where they can blossom anew into dreams. Let the enduring spirit of those winter nights lull you to rest, reminding you that as long as stories endure, so does hope, a companion against any season's dark and certain chill. As the timeless dance of stories winds into the soft embrace of medieval night, the rhythm of daily life persists, even for the youngest among the village denizens. Children in this wintry realm of past days are not merely spectators to the hum of survival. They too are integral players in the craft of enduring the famine winters, colouring the cold months with their own subtle vibrance. Picture yourself observing a group of bundled children playing thoughtfully in the thin light of a snow-blanketed lane. Their laughter rings through the air, spilling over the village's eternal hush like tinkling bells, each peal a joyful defiance against winter's grip. Snowballs fly like comets, simple games abound, and their rosy cheeks dapple warmth against the wintry landscape. Yet this world of youthful delight is balanced by early responsibilities, a delicate interplay between play and duty, shared by these young members of the tapestry. With the days short and the nights cold, children contribute eagerly to the family's survival, their petite hands learning to weave, together activities both mundane and marvellous. Their efforts might seem light against the shadow of scarcity, but they delve willingly into chores, collecting kindling, feeding animals, tidying barns, or even stirring the communal pot over the evening fire. Education during winter becomes an impromptu affair, woven through the fabric of daily life and work. The cosy warmth of gathered children often finds itself accompanied by the cadence of oral tradition, lessons passed down by firelight as practical skills are honed or the tales of old retold. Between the folds of grandmother's storytelling and whispered secrets layered into games, both history and ethics sprout and take root. Historians still muse over how structured this education could possibly be, with the landscape itself standing as a textbook, Mother Nature the eternal instructor. Some families imbue an additional dose of quirkiness into the chilly season. Imagine simple lessons on foraging for wintergreen berries or an exciting hunt for pantry mice, detonating giggles into the air as nimble feet seek tiny quarry. With puckish curiosity, young minds wrap around these bard-like lessons, echoing with subtle persistence into the folds of maturity, embroidery or carving too. Blossom as pastimes laden with insight in quiet corners, threading artistry into routine with each loop or notch. In stepping beyond self, you see traces of companionship and caring take root in these youthful souls. A fledgling knowledge forming on the art of giving and receiving, a gentle nudge of altruism cultivated within snow-hushed boundaries. It isn't merely the feral call of the wild shouting into the white expanse. It's the small, kind offerings behind the cottage walls, such as ensuring a friend stays year-round warm in hand-knit woolens, gifted with soft giggles or shared plates of hard-earned sweetness. Drawn along through the ambience of the medieval evening, take note of how the collective memory anchors through both structured and spontaneous action. Look closely and you'll find that perhaps the children themselves are history's unyielding whisperers, ensuring both the permanence and progression of cultural identity. And, as frost builds in the corner of eaves, illuminating the blue and silver pathways beneath the soft hoar of nightly snow, a sense of continuity seals this tableau of winters gone by. From the games of snow-heavy branches to the quiet reflection near slumber's edge, their gentle guardianship of story and skill whispers gently forward into each new dawn. Returning to your own warm space, reflections of youthful echoes journey with you. Tangle them with your dreams, pondering how their simple yet profound presence defies winter's starkness. Through the child's eye, come to know there lies an enduring connection, a resilience wrapped in laughter and learning, still humming below flakes falling silently, each new year, a shared promise, woven with every turn of the season. Dream well, cradled by echoes from ages past, softly guiding hearts through the longest night. As you continue to immerse yourself in the rhythm of medieval village life amid the biting winds of winter, you might pause to consider the less tangible aspects of survival, the emotional and psychological resilience that quiet yet powerful force breathing warmth into the cold's pursuit. Amid the snow-encrusted fields and ice-weighted trees lies a profound mastery of medieval coping mechanisms, an internal landscape as richly developed as any tale told by the fireside. Returning to the heart of the community, your footfalls sinking with the crunch of compacted snow, you realize that the winters of these harsher climes extend beyond physical endurance. Humans, it seems, have always straddled a delicate balance between outer and inner worlds. Within this realm of internal solace, you find playful resilience, a gently teasing optimism that blankets the heart like so much wool on a frosty eve. Imagine peering into one cottage where you spot villagers gathering to brace against both cold and solitude. Through shared storytelling and laughter, they cultivate a sanctuary of communal resolve. Here humour emerges as a primary balm. A cheeky jest about the stubbornness of winter or the antics of a wayward goat becomes shared therapy, chasing the melancholic spectre of isolation away from gathered companions. It's intriguing to see how practicality and creativity forge an alliance to combat melancholic winters. Whether through a playful twist on daily chores, like crafting cheerful patterns in fresh-laid snow, or concocting clever sing-songs that blend humour with instruction, there's art in using ordinary tasks as vehicles for connection and joy. Historians may argue still over these psychological tools' unrecorded history, like whether they were strategically employed or organically evolved as natural as an instinctual breath layered in folklore and necessity. Yet the arc beneath humankind remains ever upward, regardless of its indirection. For those choosing introspection, meditation beneath blankets knitted with care or soft hymns whispered through tinny flute melodies, a kind of retreat transforms into an oasis of internal strength. Nestled in that quietude, a mind unravels the threads of tension, an exercise in weaving back repaired mental solace with soft sighs of gratitude. At times, imagination itself becomes a sanctuary, fashioned like snow-fed bastions in the mind. Here, vulnerable realities shift shape with creative re-rendering and echo into hearthside realms of fantasy and fable, crafted by longing. You might envision dancing alongside ethereal figures from mythical lore sprung to life under an aurora borealis sky, or journeying through stories untethered to the mundane world. The arduous paths of ancient kings and queens, giants and clever tricksters, serve as guideposts toward respite, even amid a dreary winter's grasp. Family and faith play dual roles as spiritual buttresses, rituals becoming vessels of fortitude. A family gathering round the crackling hearth, sharing passages of faith amidst their private, breathless engagement, becomes a living testament to enduring kinship transcending time. All these woven strands, the collective unity, introspective meditation, and flights of imagination, craft a web designed to catch hope and cradle it through darkness. As a result, the fearsome spectre of winter slowly yields its razor-edged mantle to the soothing glow of gentle perseverance, where the soul shelters warm, cocooned in society's gently knit resilience. When finally you break away to return to your own quilted solace, breathe deeply of this time-honoured tenacity, now firmly rooted amidst past and present's harmony. Let drift your thoughts upon the quiet tides, the very breath that tides you to those medieval kindred spirits, whispering wisdom under stars from seasons long past. In the end, it is the lightness of heart and strength of spirit that illuminate the most shadowy corners of any winter, promising an assured dawn one, rekindling flames of hope, fueling dreams painted onto cold's very canvas. Rest now, with these echoes tenderly ghosting through the lightly falling snow. Know that within each heartbeat there lies a subtle resilience, waltzing gently in partnership with the cycle of light and dark through time's passage. Dream softly, held within history's caring embrace. As you return to the heart of medieval village life, the whisper of changing seasons grows faint, but the reality of the enduring winter becomes keenly felt in every frosted breath. Faced with the need to adjust to these stark months, the villagers crafted diets as adaptable as they are hearty, where necessity fosters innovation and scarcity encourages creativity. Here, amidst the cloying freeze, the dietary shifts of medieval peasants unfold like a robust tapestry of survival. Picture yourself standing near the hearth of a small cottage, the air thick with the earthy aroma of bubbling stews. Such meals are a testament to the adaptive genius of the peasants, an art of combining whatever is at hand to concoct something warm, filling, and sustaining. Within these large cauldrons, diets attuned to winter's constraints emerge at the hands of those skilled in the alchemy of simplicity. Central to this culinary adaptation is the hearty broth, which plays dual roles as both sustenance and soul balm, simmering day-long to the accompaniment of a crackling fire. Into it go root vegetables, carrots, turnips, parsnips, and leeks, each lending their flavours to the brew. What little meat is available becomes a much-anticipated flavour enhancer, often appearing as morsels of salted pork or smoked fish, contribution and contrast blending harmoniously. At the village, bread plays a critical role, providing sustenance in multiple forms. Coarse, dark rye bread varies in texture but not in importance. It is a necessary complement, sometimes garnished with curds or cheese, enhancing stews and soups or savouring the last morsels from the bottom of the pot. Occasionally, leftover crumbs reappear as thickening agents or hearty pudding foundations. Dairy products, albeit scarce, continue to bolster the package of this winter diet. Milk, transformed into winter-stored cheese and curds, enhances flavours and textures. Butter, a golden delight on a bleak day, offers both caloric bounty and reassuring familiarity. Each dollop, a testament to the careful, hands-on stewardship that lies behind its preparation. A reliable ally against calorie deficits. The quirky tidbits of history related to dried apples or pears appear as much-needed notes of sweetness woven into the dietary palate. Similarly, historians still debate whether wine, cider, or ale laur, alcohol, small beer, served chiefly for sustenance or slaked thirst. Regardless, these beverages bring life to meals and gathering spaces alike, weaving warmth into both belly and conversation. A surplus of essentials becomes rare, but community ingenuity comes into full play. Families trade with neighbours, an egg for a pinch of dried herbs, this type of barter system ensuring that richness of diet remains within flavour variance as another avenue of sharing and care. The small triumph in evoking laughter from a shared meal becomes as satisfying as culinary extravagance. Children, eager with hands deft among grain sacks or stirring pots, contribute to these heartwarming dishes, and such participation offers glimpses into a lineage of culinary wisdom, tilting ever onward beyond hungry years. It's these meals that serve more than just dietary functions. They are social linchpins, a means to ensure that life continues uninterrupted around a centerpiece of conversation and smiles. These diets, adjusted under duress of winter's stern whispers, signify much more than sustenance. They are a salutation to the season's austere beauty, an encoded homage to time egged forward on necessity's wings. When you retreat into the enfolded warmth of your own space, think upon the echoes of medieval kitchens and tables. Let the reverberations of clinking earthenware and animated chatter refocus winter's chill into a delightful echo from this distant time. Feel, if just for a moment, the kinship of humanity encoded within the symphony of survival, marching boldly past famine's frigid door. Know that in shared meals, history whispers of continuity, melting away the distances of age and era. Now, fold yourself into dreams cozy with the unfolding cadence of ancient dietary wisdom, bridging hearts across eons with each nourishing note. May you find warmth coiled like harvest's promise around every steaming bowl, a promise held gently within history's caress, a lullaby of prosperity to cradle you softly into the night. As you continue your journey through the labyrinth of medieval existence, the architecture, an enduring alliance of human imagination and nature's materials, unveils itself as another vital element of survival. In a time when protection from the elements was paramount, medieval peasants crafted dwellings designed to shield against winter's unforgiving assault. Merging ingenuity with available resources, picture yourself approaching a snow-draped cottage, its thatched roof sitting heavy beneath the weight of winter's embrace, yet defying the chill through strategic design. Here, amidst the rolling landscape, you find dwelling places that embody a harmonious blend of practicality, resourcefulness, and adaptive creativity, simple yet sophisticated fortresses against the cold. The humble wattle and daub walls, reinforced with wooden frames, offer insulation by trapping heat indoors and providing a barrier against icy winds. Despite their rustic appearance, these homes serve as havens, capturing and retaining the heat generated by the hearth, a testament to both architectural dexterity and the deep understanding of their environment. Each structure stands as a bulwark, integrating earth and timber into a sustainable whole, ostensibly weaving walls of resilience that defy winter's intrusion. The roofs are crafted from tightly bound thatch, a surprising force against the weather. Thatching, an age-old technique, layers each stalk with precision so that rain and snow slide off easily, preventing waterlogging and keeping interiors dry. It's a quirky but clever nod to utilizing local materials. Straw or reeds thrive in abundance, transformed into warm headwear crowning each dwelling. Working your way inside, you trace the smooth edges of the timber beams that arc above. Timber forms the life frame of these structures, harvested through hard seasonal labor and careful stewardship. Wooden frames offer structural integrity, each beam seemingly whispering through the ages of sunlit forests past and more prosperous summers to come. Historians still debate the complexities of these construction techniques, exploring just how deeply knowledge of the environment influenced the choice of materials. Was it improvisation, or a landscape-wrought doctrine shaped by necessity? Either way, these cottages reflect a profound commitment to sustainability, mirrored in every structural choice, creative solutions left behind for a world yet to come. Across the thresholds, thick earthen floors might initially seem Spartan, but offer insulation against the chill creeping upward from the frosted ground. Rushes or straw, scatter them in counterpoint to the hard-packed dirt, creating makeshift carpeting that muffles sound, lays warmth, and becomes a source of unfussy comfort beneath bare feet. The hearth, a nucleus of life within these homes, not only provides warmth and space for culinary magic, but also crafts an ingenious solution against frigid air, ingeniously absorbing heat from hissing, crackling logs. Their tempered stones radiate warmth long after the flames have died down, turning the chill into gentle discomfort cradled by ingenuity's essence. Glimpse through small windows shuttered against drafts, permitting fleeting glimpses of snowbound vistas, a reminder that while the world outside slumbers beneath frosty sleep, inside, the spirit of life thrives against shadowed backdrops, reinforced by intimate understandings of what a home could be. Yet beyond tangible warmth, the architecture embodies a cultural heart, a place for storytelling, for weaving tales of the hearth fire's glow. In each texture and crafted edge there lies embedded a kindred rhythm, a constant that assures continuity despite shifts in seasons or time. Indeed, as you return to the comfort of modern life, think on how these architectural innovations resonate through time's shifting corridors. They speak not only of shelter, but of man's enduring creativity in generating warmth from winter's clenched fist. So as you snuggle beneath your thoroughly modern roof, let the echoes of ancient craftsmanship enfold you like a tender lullaby. Remind yourself that whether from thatch or timber, enduring warmth arises from the dreams and ingenuity imbued within every corner. A silent assurance that even against winter's fiercest trials, we are always capable of building worlds light and resilient. Dream now within that whispered promise of history, a testament to humankind's unyielding ability to weave light from the longest shadows. Thus may you slumber, wrapped in the gentle architecture of hope, from past foundations to future dreams, sheltering the heart against nature's breath. As you journey further through the depths of winter, the medieval village reveals itself not only through the everyday lives and ingenious adaptations of its inhabitants, but also through the traces they have left behind, historical records and narratives that offer glimpses into the past and evoke tales, both written and unwritten. Imagine yourself walking into a modest scriptorium, a small room where the walls are lined with shelves holding wax tablets, parchment scrolls, and bound manuscripts. These small treasures are the work of diligent scribes, monks, and storytellers who dutifully documented the ebbs and flows of village life. They offer snapshots of existence carved from ink and quill, a tapestry of the mundane interwoven with the exceptional, surviving the centuries as fragile reminders of shared histories. In these records you'll find inventories detailing yields of rye, barley and oats, stored away for the harsh winters we've traversed. There are tallies of livestock and goods exchanged, their neat columns bearing witness to the rhythm of medieval life. These documents, buried in the syntax of commerce and survival, whisper of stewardship, both personal and community-based, ensuring that the narrative of resourcefulness endures. In the margins, and beneath the more structured columns, lie the narratives that breathe life into these figures, the tales of abundance and scarcity, of harvests reaped before the onset of frost, of fairs and festivals punctuating the calendar, shining through even the darkest time. The chronicles exist alongside oral traditions, each serving as testimonies to the resilience and ingenuity of those who weathered winter's ferocity. More formal records, held within monastery or manor domains, are adorned with illuminations, vibrant, colourful escapades of daily life. These illustrations breathe vibrancy into written words, depicting the hierarchical dance between serf and lord, unravelling stories within themes both relatable and starkly unfamiliar. Here among vines and birds' wings captured within gilt borders, life's minutiae finds its own sacred space. Historians still ponder and debate over the reliability of these accounts. How accurately do chronicles reflect the lived experiences of ordinary people, embellished stories drifting as far away as merchant tongues could carry them? Was exaggeration a tool of survival, or legend spun through humorous escapism? It's a mystery echoing through libraries of lost time, a challenge for scholars unfurling the shroud drawn over yesteryear. As you sift through time's pages, you'll catch the more elusive narratives, allusions to superstition or fragments of epic lore. These stories thrive outside the boundaries of neatly penned lines in songs passed from hearth to hearth, their melodies woven through the fields and forests like ethereal threads. They capture tales of endurance, spinning ornate garments from gossamer storytelling exchanged between allies or kin. The rarest yet most intimate fragments paint familiar human portraits of love, hope, longing and resilience. Each penned word traverses distances, both spatial and temporal, igniting an ember of connection stretching beyond ink and parchment into the distant expanse of future hearts. Beyond written words and images, archaeological whispers add depth to these histories. Relics unearthed from frozen ground speak of craftsmanship bound by time. Perhaps a cracked pottery shard, an iron buckle tarnished by years, remains tucked into legend's tangential spiral wooden remnants, shaping stories of survival alongside history's penmanship. Reflecting on these historical records and narratives, as you edge toward your own hearth once more, consider how the echo of lives lived influences the warmth of nights yet to come. Let these whispers become thoughtful companions amidst softer rhythms, breathing newfound resonance into the charm of humanity's collective odyssey. In closing your eyes against snowflakes of memory, drift gently towards silence, where history finds voice once more, each note a reminder that while time may fold away moments into ancient echoes, the stories it shapes live on as gentle guardians of both light and dark. As you journey into sleep, may these tales cradle your dreams, a legacy promised anew within each waking dawn. As we make our way through the less trodden paths of history, the enduring legacies and lessons learned from those who braved medieval famine winters become a gentle echo whispering through time. These are stories of ingenuity and strength that stretch beyond mere survival, transcending years to serve as teachings that resonate even today with unparalleled relevance. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a field, now hidden beneath icy crusts, once tilled with care and foresight by those who understood the cycles of the earth. In the lay of this landscape, amid the quietude of sleeping nature, rest the profound footprints of lessons etched by generations. Their success at weathering harsh winters is not simply about enduring, it is a masterful blend of adaptability, foresight, and community, hallmarks of enduring legacies that modern times still cherish. For medieval peasants, resourcefulness reigned supreme. They taught us the remarkable art of preserving valuable resources, transforming abundant summer harvests into provisions that carried them through long, shadowed months. Today, these time-tested methods of drying, pickling, and salting continue to return to prominence, coveted by those who seek sustainability and respect the natural ebb and flow of seasons. The notion of community stands as another pillar, profound yet straightforward in its effectiveness. In these scattered villages, men and women recognized that their fates were woven together, like the tightly braided ropes they used in everyday tasks. Their legacy of mutual aid reminds us of the strength found in unity, a principle that still resonates within our interconnected world, craving genuine connection through tumultuous time. In terms of architecture and environmental harmony, the ingenuity in design serves as a timeless testament to human ingenuity meeting ecological adaptation. Their homes, constructed with resourcefulness and resilience, reveal the profound understanding these bygone builders had of their environment, a practice that inspires ongoing discussions worldwide about sustainable living in the face of modern-day challenges. Amidst these concrete contributions lie more abstract curriculums, those of perseverance and tenacity. Medieval peasants never allowed themselves to yield entirely to despair or surrender to the lethargy of ceaseless winter. Instead, through faith, fortitude, and humour, they taught succeeding generations the art of finding light even when shadows loomed large. They serve now as then as quiet fortresses built upon hope's enduring stones. Historians still piece together the artifacts and remnants left by these industrious forebears, diving into paleographic records or sifting through archaeological finds to paint richer, fuller pictures of life lived under formidable conditions. Each story they unearth becomes a curator of the past's invaluable wisdom, explored anew, teaching us not just what was, but what can still be accomplished when humans embrace the resourcefulness ingrained in vast veins of history. As you stand poised here on the threshold between history and modernity, and let these enduring lessons sink into your being, take heart in their ability to rekindle resilience. These secrets, both tangible and intangible, are vaults filled with treasures, insights designed for resurrecting hope where it has flagged, and for encouraging growth even in frost's severest stance. So now, as we close this journey wrapped in warming nostalgia, gather these echoes like treasured heirlooms, tend them, and keep their wisdom alive beneath today's waiting cloak of snow. May these lessons learnt from history's best teachers illuminate the paths you walk. Embrace this warm knowledge, letting it guide every dawn with strength and clarity, echoing steadfast within life's unending cycle. And as you settle into slumber, may the wisdom permeate throughout your dreams, a calming assurance that we carry within us the strength to weather any storm, echoing the tenacity of those who came before, lighting the path for those yet to walk. Safe in this knowledge, drift off, knowing that our stories and theirs are bound into one cohesive tapestry of human resilience, intertwined through seasons of time. As the harsh grip of winter slowly begins to loosen, the medieval village subtly comes alive with the first inklings of spring. This transformative period marks the beginning of a new chapter, a surreal ballet of renewal, as the world glimmers with the promise of warmth and growth once more. The gradual return of spring unfolds gently, like the unfurling petals of a beloved flower, ushering in a profound sense of hope and rejuvenation. Imagine waking to the soft cooing of birds newly returned from their southern sojourns, their melodies weaving through the crisp morning air like the first strokes of a painter's brush on an emerging canvas. The light streams through branch-naked windows, casting the sharp silhouette of budding trees onto the walls inside, as if nature itself sketches its impending glory. Snow still clings to ground and branches, but now is embroidered with early shoots of grass and the timid yellows of crocuses peeking shyly at the sun. The earth beneath your feet possesses a newfound softness, its once frozen veneer giving way to the gentle embrace of moist soil, hinting at the agriculture-rich bounty soon to come. Within the village, doors that have been closed are slowly opened with curious anticipation. You watch as villagers emerge, blinking against the brightness of late winter's sun, faces touched by the soft light that promises rejuvenation. Beneath layers of woolen cloaks, there's a tangible hum of renewed energy, a collective exhalation made joyous by sunlight's tender kiss. The air is imbued with the scent of thawing earth and faint aromas of budding foliage. The villagers set about preparing for the rebirth of their fields, fingernails edging willing furrows into the soil. The chattering of children rings across the lanes, their feet skipping between patches of snow and sprouting greens, eager to take part in the collective anticipation. As days grow longer, the symphony of life swells. The village square, silent and dormant through months of snow-draped slumber, begins to pulse with newfound activity. A tableau of carts squeaking with freshly mended wheels, echoing the promise of markets soon teeming with life. There's a palpable shift in the air that anchors spirits, motivating both young and old to move with renewed purpose. Historians might ponder whether the beginning of spring was marked by official celebrations or informal gatherings, yet it is clear that such an awakening was met by a surge of community spirit. There is evidence of small ritualistic festivals, gatherings where neighbours shared stories of survival and plans for newfound ventures. In weaving and storytelling circles alike, you hear the gentle prophecy of what is to come, a time beckoning with promise. It's an opportunity to plant anew, whether in soil or soul. The richness meant to be harvested in years yet blossoming. The returning warmth rekindles both physical labour and the intimate wishes dwelling in silent seasons past. As anticipation builds, the acceptance of change reverberates among all. Even as chores beckon, smiles widen beneath the working, sun-struck fields. Echoes of futures unfurl, hinting at promises shaped by laughter and elbow grease shared by the village's collective soul. In each smile traced by light, you glimpse spring's assurance beneath life's relentless cycle. Gather these colourful tendrils of renewal and engraft them onto your own experiences. Let the ushering of springtimes redefine the essence of beginnings, ones painted anew with the brushstrokes of hope and warmth. As nature exhales beneath winter's releasing clutch, find solace in humanity's perseverance, our constant beckoning forwards despite the stark, snow-bound retreat. And so, in the contemplation of this rhythmic return, let sleep tangle its wings around you, cradling an optimistic sun-song of life and rebirth. In dreams follow where the paths of blooming green stretch beyond winter's edge, ever warmed by the belief that each spring promises its own eternal renewal. As days lengthen and the shadows recede, the medieval village emerges from winter's grasp to embrace the lighter heart of spring. In the pellucid dawn, you see how the shifting balance of light and dark affects both landscape and mind, each radiant ray a whisper of relief, as sunlight gracefully washes over the land, coming to rest on rooftops and fields alike. Walking through the village, you notice every person and structure bathed in the glow of burgeoning warmth. This newfound luminosity marks not only the passing of frigid nights, but also a collective sigh of mental reprieve, lifting spirits and unfurling hearts previously weighed down by winter's enduring blankets. With each sunrise, moods lift subtly. There's a palpable lightness to each step taken beneath the sun's widening arc. The villagers themselves are transformed in this liberating glow. Their vibrant chatter fills the air as they bustle about rejuvenated tasks, their laughter unburdened by the claustrophobic gloom that shadows bring. It's not merely the lengthening of days, but the quality of this reawakened light that nourishes a subtle psychological revival, turning weariness into vitality as cheer infiltrates every corner of life. The rhythm of life takes on a buoyant cadence. Characters once huddled around fires stretch their limbs, savouring the warmth greeting their faces. As the sun's journey grows, it casts longer shadows which dance like living poetry weaving through the cobblestones, each playful flicker of light beating back the remnants of winter's encapsulating chill. This new illumination lends a landscape of colours, emerging hues previously muted, turning familiar views into pieces of living art gently cradled in nature's embrace. Yet it isn't only brightness that engenders joy. Historians still deliberate about psychological impacts of seasonal variation on medieval communities. But here and now, the palpable shift in community tone resists scholarly debate, unfolding rather as evident renewal. Bodies and minds basking in florid rejuvenation following exposure to spring's invigorating glimpses of life. In places where darkness had once entrenched mental doldrums, the brightness peeks through with sly smiles. It's as if the villagers possess a shared secret, a profound understanding that the struggles of winter, albeit harsh, are only part of life's cycle. This unity of experience, framed by both light and dark, fortifies bonds now subtly nourished by glistening skies and hopeful horizons. With every passing day infused with sunlight, communal projects stretch forward with a renewed fervour. Barns repaired, fields tilled, and markets readied with goods emerging from sheds long shuttered. Children and elders alike engage in outdoor games, their eye squints matched by their voices, a merry soundtrack echoing harmony, recovery, post-winter. Imagination, fed by lighter moments, lends boldness to dreams and endeavours. Ideas sown in long, dark nights begin germinating, entwined with spring mist and newly unfurling ferns. It is a season of mental sowing, when cognitive illumination finds partners as bold ambitions, nurtured by sunbeam assurances that even when swallowed by darkness, brilliance remains within reach. As the village collectively leans into thoughtful crafting, repairs, and worthy enterprises, know that within each beam of spring's radiance lies the potential to forge stronger minds, buoy connections further, and outshine past shadows. Here, the promise of sunlight turns into projects extended towards the horizon, illuminating a countryside ready to embrace future fruition. When you retreat to your own quietude, consider how the renewed interplay between light and dark imbues strength upon community's spirit. As spring marches on, let the gentle rhythm of this equilibrium inspire the dance between lightness and shadow within your life. Drift now into dreams where the soft, sweet glow of spring wraps you in an embrace as gentle as a sunlit pasture. Let this renewed balance grant peace, cradling the seeds of hope and well-being through sleep's tender passage, a promise that just as sunlight scatters gloom, warmth may always find its way home. As the medieval village continues to embrace the lengthening days of spring, the bustling energy of preparation envelops the community like the vibrant greens pushing through the tender soil. With winter's stranglehold relinquished, villagers turn their hearts and minds toward the promise of abundance ushered in by planting season. It's a time alive with anticipation and diligent labour, where the lessons of past winters guide eager hands as they sow the seeds for both survival and celebration. Imagine standing at the edge of a field, the air charged with the scent of newly turned earth and the hopeful chatter of villagers renewing their bond with the land. Each footfall leaves an imprint in the moist soil as farmers move with practiced rhythms, their tools mirroring the thrust of their purpose. For those who lived through the harshness of the preceding months, this symphony of preparation is both a ritual and an art, informed by foresight, experience, and tradition. The fields have been cleared of their winter's detritus, and compost, last autumn's gift, is spread lovingly across plots, ensuring the land is primed to receive the farmer's offering. The soil itself, now thawed and pliant, yields willingly to the gardener's touch, welcoming seeds and sprouts ready to wring life from the sun's renewed fortunes. Villagers engage in lively discussions about the best rows for sowing specific crops, each strategy rooted in the collective memory passed down through generations. Crop rotation, an ingenious adaptation to prevent soil exhaustion, remains a deeply embedded practice. Questions hang lightly in the air, whether to place the beets by the western hedge, or if the onions fare better nearer the stream. A debate threaded with optimism, marking out paths toward bounty. Historians agree that the medieval calendar and its companion rituals were bound tight with farming cycles, tales of rural life scripted inside the gilded years. During this time of preparation, the possibilities are heralded by festivals and rituals that celebrate both divine intervention and human effort. Blessings are sought from saints who look kindly upon the endeavour, while traditional songs recount stories of heroes who harnessed the earth's bounty in ages past. The technology of the time is simple yet effective. Wooden ploughs carved with history's etchings cut the earth. Their design marries understanding of local terrain with manual labour, each groove ploughed symbolic of hopes for the harvest to come. Woven into these moments of agricultural readiness are the whimsical charms bird silhouettes carved upon gateposts, scare pests away, and strands of red wool twine set intentions with each knot tied in prayer. Battle too is the collective spirit, neighbours helping neighbours, hands clasped upon handles of shared hoes and shovels, reflecting the essential camaraderie of communal agronomy. Seasonal stakes are planted, not just of grain or legume, but of trust, collaboration, and shared vision, for the yield hoped to emerge on the far horizon. In this dance between preparation and expectation, children play their part, scattering seeds with care or joyfully chasing flocks recently returned. Young and old alike find echoes of satisfaction in furrows closing around sown seed, feeling the pulse of spring imbued with decades-long knowledge. As you stand amidst these planting scenes, your feet find cadence with time's loop, the rhythmic anticipation sewn into the earth's promise, and the legacy of those who learned to use the sun as their ally, teaching every new spring that tomorrow is ever worth tending. So, as you retreat to your own comforting abode, tethered to soil's embrace, let these humble beginnings, crafting cycles of productivity, enfold you. Contemplate how this perpetual process of renewal finds its reflection not only in harvest days to come, but within the architecture of dreams, replete with ancient whispers of renewal and growth. Now, let your mind wander through dreams of fields burgeoning beneath timeless skies. Allow the resonance of spring's preparations linger amongst your slumber, a gentle reminder from past hands, all nurturing hope, collectively tending the vast fields of tomorrow. As the medieval village pulses with the sprightly energy of renewal, the cycle of seasons shifts from preparation to action, driving home the rhythm of rebuilding and resource replenishment. With winter's retreat, the community's focus turns toward both physical and spiritual rejuvenation, embracing the work of restoring and fortifying what the harsh months had worn thin. In this delicate dance of recovery, picture yourself amidst a flurry of purposeful activity. Everywhere you turn, villagers are engaged in the tenacious work of mending, crafting, and replenishing, each act an earnest bid to bridge the gap left by winter's stark demands. The air is sweet with sawdust and the scent of fresh thatch, as roofs are restrawed and tools repaired, simple yet profound gestures that speak to the enduring human spirit, seeking equilibrium. Beyond the homes and fields, small but significant social gatherings punctuate this time of renewal. You find neighbours gathered under softening skies, sharing newfound cheer and recounting tales of endurance, accompanied by laughter that quickens the heart. Here, bonds strained by scarcity breathe anew, friendships strengthened and tested by shared struggles, blossoming into tangible solidarity, rich with unspoken promise. The communal hearth becomes a gathering place, not just for stories but for the wisdom needed to assess winter's toll, guiding preparations for months ahead. Plans are whispered and discussed, each strategy like a seed planted with intention, nurtured by whispers of trust and hope. There is a gentle determination in every spoken word, a collective pledge to fortify against future challenges. learning from the past while leaning into possibility. At the heart of this restorative process lies the open market, now bustling with energy, a melting pot of exchanged goods and revived trade. Barter and barter alike, baskets brim with items woven, crafted, and baked, all hints at the vibrant life returning to normalcy. The trade winds whisper tales from beyond as merchants carry knowledge alongside wares, their voices weaving through conversations that enrich horizons beyond the village. Historians piece together how medieval life often mirrored nature, the ebb and flow aligning with the rhythms of growing and harvesting seasons, a consistent cycle of need, fulfillment, dearth, and replenishment. It is within these cycles that human ingenuity has found its eternal dance partner, crafting strategies to recover from nature's relentless tests. On the spiritual plane, communities seek renewal in both solemnity and joy. Quiet moments of reflection lend depth, while celebratory gatherings herald a new dawn. Vibrant promises echoed through festivals that invite gaiety and mirth. Bells toll softly in the distance, carrying prayers of gratitude for survival and messages of intention towards a hopeful new beginning. As you observe this cycle of rebuilding and resource replenishment, know that what unfolds is more than just replenishing supplies. It is the reaffirmation of humanity's intrinsic connection to hope, to endurance, to the renewal implicit in every sunrise. Each cobbled path, each hand-tilled plot, sings of life's return, harmonizing survival's dance, poised delicately between intent and achievement. Fold this revelation into the fabric of your consciousness as you return to your own moment of calm. Let the echoes of rejuvenation guide your musings towards dreams, knowing history's sway stays ever attentive to the hand of humanity, ready to rebuild with patience and resolve. Nestle into the comfort of your resting space, letting the gentle winding rivers of time carry you through dreams made soft with this eternal, nurturing promise, a legacy of renewal etched within the heart's landscape, assuring you that within life's cycle, we are called to rebuild bravely in the face of any season's shadow. As the cycle of seasons weaves seamlessly toward yet another full circle, the medieval village stands poised at the threshold of hope and renewal. The experience of winter, with all its challenges, bears witness to the resilience of both land and people, a testament to endurance and a dedication to growth that springs eternal. In this final reflection, step into a moment of contemplation, embracing the enduring wisdom cultivated through the serene cycles of nature and community. The village, now tinged with the soft pastels of blossoming branches and the vibrant greens of revitalized fields, resonates with promise. The tools of labor rest momentarily, leaning against sun-warmed walls, their handles polished smooth through countless hours of toil. Each tool serves as a testament to the human spirit, echoing the strength drawn from the very earth that supports them, a symbiotic embrace nurtured by years of harmony and strife. The softly warming breeze breathes life into the landscape, threading through open windows and sweeping across cobblestone paths, carrying with it the subtle fragrance of new growth, a silent symphony that harmonizes heart and mind. This natural cadence invites villagers to reflect upon the past hardships and embrace the potential that each new day brings, drawing courage to meet the future's whispering call. These gentle whispers elucidate a timeless truth, that the hardest winters, no matter their severity, pave the way for the lightness of spring. It's a time to balance reflection with optimism. An era when the memory of leaner times informs decisions, yet no longer burdens them, replaced instead by the anticipation of coming abundance. In this season of renewal, villagers gather in celebration, their laughter and song carried on the wearying winter winds that have given way to the fragrance of blossoming aspirations. Historians recount the vitality of these gatherings as manifestations of hope's persistent bloom, sustenance nourished through the soil of shared experiences. These moments transcend the village field, echoing across distances and generations, carried as both legacy and inspiration. The echoes of faith, collaboration, and resilience float gently through the gentle wash of golden sunlight, cradling stories of those who came before, gently reminding each person that their journey remains connected through time well spent. Under skies both turbulent and clear. Each life, rooted in this enduring dance, adds to the broader tapestry, weaving colours bold and quiet, each thread a testimony to hope realised beneath the horizon's quiet arc. As you embrace this concluding moment, allow the imagery and lessons from each season to settle with you, like seeds planted within the fertile soil of your thoughts, ready to blossom into dreams. The quiet wisdom, whispered from ages past, assures you that tomorrow is an open field, tendable for reaping both persistence and potential. Now, as you settle gently into the cradle of your waking dreams, envision yourself as part of this eternal cycle, lunked through shared histories entwined across time's expansive embrace. Fall back into the tender resonance of renewal, where melodies painted by nature and nurtured by humanity sing together. May sleep find you gently guided by these harmonious echoes of resilience and rebirth, cradling you in history's gentle embrace. As the tender harmony of hope and renewal lulls you into slumber, rest assured that the lessons of the past, present and future are interwoven, forever nurturing dreams whispered into the fabric of the night. Sweet dreams.